How's everybody doing? We are fixing to pour some agar. So we're just doing our little initial cleaning of the still air box. And my still air box technique, I'm not bragging, but it's done got pretty good. I'm working with this agar a little soon, so yeah, like I was saying, my technique with this still air box has done got pretty impressive. Like I'm talking about on my contam rate. That's the only way I know to judge your efficiency with a still air box would be to say do 20 inoculations of an agar cup. Now I've never done nothing like this, but I have had to do it with the oven method, and I didn't count it or nothing, but I know what my effective rate was when I done it with the oven method, which is kind of in the open air, and then my effective rate for when I first started in the still air box versus now that I've been working in the still air box, and the difference is night and day. You know, it is night and day. So don't get discouraged when you first start working in your still air box if things don't go just beautifully, you know. And still, if you're going to be any more than a part-time mycologist, if you want to make this a hobby, you know, that can ever start being productive for you as far as money goes, then of course you might want to consider starting to put aside, say, 10% of your money, 10% of your profit, and just start saving till you get around $1,000, and then you can get you a 24 by 24 flow hood. Now I've done a lot of research and talked to a lot of friends, and I definitely would not recommend selling out to yourself and to your hobby and everything and just getting the 12 by 12 flow hood. It don't allow you to do a lot of things. It's just like a still air box. It hampers you so much that go ahead, save up to $500 more and get you the 24 by 18 or the 24 by 24, something that you can work in front of. Oh, here we go, everybody. We got our agar down to about 148. That's a decent place, especially once you stir it up and kind of shake it, and you can actually see, okay, yeah, we're about where we want to be. So this is where we give our tub. I just cleaned it with alcohol, you seen a while ago. So we're going to give it a quick hit with the alcohol one more time, because you never can be too clean. Now with the alcohol, you don't want to wipe all of it out. You want to still leave it a little alcohol-y in there. And then coat that with, this is tap water that I boiled, and then I poured in here and put one drop of name brand Dawn dish detergent. Okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna spray it with the alcohol. This is one of my glass petri dishes, but I'm just using it for a quick top for my agar while I'm using it here. Just that quick open I did right there wouldn't let nothing in, because if you notice the jar steams. See how it steams? So that's the kind of the same principle behind the open air oven method, is that it blocks anything. Germs don't fall up generally. Alright, now I use these little 12 packs because they're individually wrapped, and I feel like that, you know, by the time you get through working with a bunch of them, they could have stuff on them. So if you're only working with 12 at a time, then you're in a lot better shape. I like to put napkins on the bottom double layered of my tub because, just because it's just my thing. I just try to keep things in the same routine. Alright, now I'm going to wash my hands with alcohol too, but this is just a gel alcohol. It works real good for me. I like it for my hands. I like to try to open anything inside the tub if I can. Oh, and remember, when you open anything in your tub, you want to have it all face down. So right here, usually these come right the heck open. I don't want them just to fling everywhere. Okay, there we go, I got them. Okay, so when you get into them, you find what's face down on them and you lay them face down. Same thing with the cups. You have it. Can you see that in there? Yeah, they're face down, right? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them at a time. So I got to turn these 6 face up. And you remember, you want to do this quick, but you don't want to be pulling your arms in and out. So pour, 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 pour. Now put my top back on my agar. Now I want the lids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What the hell? Am I tripping right now? I think I am. Shit. I have not opened it or contaminated nothing, but I can't get the top to... There it is, but I'm wondering, did I use both? I did, okay, that's why. Let me put this back in there. I gotta open this again. Ah. That is crazy, kids, what just happened there. My lids were, in fact, stuck together. All of them are. Man, that blows so bad. Okay, that's cool, that's cool. As long as I know it ahead of time. Still, anytime you're having struggles like this, don't panic. Just keep doing what you're doing according to your routine, according to your plan. If you know that you need to keep the lids face down to do this, keep the lids face down and just deal with your struggle. Remember that I told you that I'd tell you a trick to get the condensation off? That's it right there. All you got to do is stack your cups up. Stack them on top of each other. Now, sometimes don't ask me why, because I'm not a fan of stuff like this, but sometimes it don't work. On some cups, like some cups will have it. Still, I got no clue why. The only thing I really don't know why. It happens to some and some it don't. But if you stack them, I promise you your odds are better. So now once again we're going to lay 6 of them out. I shouldn't have done this yet because I was going to put my glove on because that cup was so hot to pour. I normally don't like sticking foreign objects in there, but I've washed this glove a bunch, so I ain't too worried about the contamination coming from the glove. I'm more worried about it being from me bringing my hand in there, you feel me? You know, from the air, I mean. Okay, so the tops have already been opened, so the first thing I need to do is set a top on each cup. This is normally what I do, but that first rip, my top stuck together and I was struggling. All right, now you notice one hand has got the thing on it, so I can't let that get in my way. Now you're gonna try to stack these up. That's about as high as I want to with one row. Once I get several rows down there, then I can stack them a little higher. The reason you want to try to stack them as high as you can is obviously because the top one is going to have a lot of condensation on it, so you want to try to have as less top ones as possible. The way to do that, stack them higher. See how it's kind of leaning that way? Well, in a minute I will have other ones that I can lean that one against, and it will the situation will be a lot better. All right, so there we go. Let me open that. Let me get that in here. Okay, this time I'm not even going to take the lids out until, the boxes out until I separate these bad boys. Just because of this, I know it's something stupid and simple, but I don't care. Just because of this right here, I've never had them do this, so I might give them another chance. But if this brand done this again, had 2 of them sticking like this, I would never use them again, because it's the little things like this that slow you up, that throw off your routine, that will and Agar ain't that expensive, so it ain't nothing to trip about. But at the same time, what I would trip about is the time that it's going to cost me to have to redo it. You know, if it did get contaminated and I have to redo my whole project here, I'm not happy. So 1, I'm going to turn these face down. 2, 4, 6. The reason they're going to be face down is because I still have to take one hand out, glove up. Now I come back and I'll turn them all over. And I grab the top off the Agar. Okay, top back on the Agar. Get this finger off. Let's put the tops on there. Even though I'm not snapping them yet, I'm trying to get them all closed as quickly as possible. Even if that's not all the way closed, you feel me? We're trying to the name of the game here is improve your odds of success. That one's kind of leaning that way, so I don't like that. Alright, so now I got this one. I got them kind of leaning into each other by design. That was on purpose, you know, because once I get them 3 or 4 way stacked, then I can start putting ones on the top again. I'll show you what I mean in a minute about how it clears all that condensation off. And like I said, it ain't gonna be perfect, but it sure, that one still feels thick like a tour. I bet what that's going to end up doing is going to end up having me a top short. No, I ain't. Okay. Perfect. Here we go then. So we gotta turn everybody over. Take the top off. Let's get that glove off. I bet the next time I won't need the glove. I bet that Agar, oh, see, and I forgot my routine. Y'all see what I forgot to do? I forgot to go ahead and close them. Little things like that matter. You want to keep your routine. It's important. You decided to do it in the beginning for a reason. The reason you started to do it was because it was a good idea. And if something was a good idea at the beginning, then when you're flustered and frustrated halfway through, don't stop doing that thing that you thought was a good idea. That goes with anything. Anything. If you thought something was a good plan and you actually gave it the thought, the time to think about it and consider it and all that, then it probably was a good plan. Shit. That's okay, boys and girls. That's why I like the ketchup cups. Who cares if you have one or two that's... Man, that pisses me off right there, though. I never do that. Something's up with this floor. It's okay. We keep right along going. You can't... I mean, that agar will run down from the sides and everything will be okay. I'm just... Okay, here we go. We got the tops face down. Yeah, these being like this is killing my whole vibe because it's making me rush in a weird way. It's making me know that my agar is hardening up, and it's making me feel uncomfortable, like, because I don't like to rush. See, when I rush, shit like what just happens right there, or not, I won't say when I rush, but whenever I've already got a plan in place and then I get thrown a curveball, it makes me have to adjust on the fly. And adjusting on the fly is typically when you're gonna make your mistakes, just like I just did. That was a good example, you know, so maybe y'all can, I don't know how you could learn from it, maybe 2, 4, 6, maybe when a curveball comes along, y'all try to remember to stay calm, you know, to not get panicky. And then when you got this camera right there over your shoulder and you're trying to do something good because you want to show people a nice way to do things, you know, it just adds extra pressure. But all that is part of the game, and I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all watching and learning with me, because this is just like getting sober. You know, part of the fun of getting sober is teaching somebody else how to get sober, and that's the same with mushrooms. You know, part of the joy of fruiting your first bin is teaching somebody else to fruit a bin, you know. I think so anyway. And I've heard a bunch of other buddies say that they enjoyed seeing somebody else that was struggling get their first grow right more than they enjoyed their own, you know, more than they enjoyed their own first grow. Now, me, I messed up probably I don't know, I probably messed up for 2 or 3 months before I got everything dialed in. But I wouldn't say that I was messing up. What I was doing was I was following other people's tech, and I was trying to add my own spin on it instead of just following their tech from the start and doing it, following their tech, following their tech, following their tech, following their tech until I got it down, and then add my own spin to that. I wanted to add my own spin right from the start. Alright, same thing, my cups are in there. I'm adding a thin layer of agar on the bottom because I add a lot of potato in mine. I add a little bit more potato than the recipe I showed y'all called for, but that's not necessary. It's just something I like to do because I like my agar to be a little firmer than normal. Because I would just keep mine longer sometimes, and I hate when it gets jelly. You know, I like it to be firm. That's just a personal preference. Oh no. Did I put 2 tops on one, or I must have, see that one of them must have 2 tops stuck to it somewhere, because I now have an exposed agar and no top to put on it, which is okay. I mean, like I said, agar is it's not like it's gonna break the bank expensive stuff. And this is my last one of these brands anyway, so it's not a big deal. What I would do is I would get my hands in here, I would take the top off this first one, bam. Now we are cooking. Now we get the rest of them, and we are gonna rinse, wash, and repeat. I don't want to confuse nobody, so I literally don't mean rinse or wash or none of that. That's just a process. That means that's just a saying. I mean, it means we're gonna repeat the process. Okay, so remember, we're going to leave 1 cup off. I would do it at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the top. Yeah, see, this messed me up a good little bit, having to pinch the tops, because I wish you could see this agar pouring. It's terrible, and it ain't that you can't manage it when it gets a little warmer like this. It's okay to manage it, but I actually prefer it to be so hot that I have to wear my gloves, because it gives you an extra layer of security, that is the steam coming up out of the jar. See, you're having to open that jar every time you want to pour your agar, right? So every time you're opening that jar, you're increasing the chance for a contamination to get in. So it just helps you if the agar is steamy hot, because obviously it's going to be a lot harder anyway for something to fall into something that's steaming that hard. And then when you're putting these agars on here like this, an agar that's not hot is not going to clear the condensation off the top for you, which, like I said, it's okay. You can still look in the sides and all that. You can make do with agar that the top is You can make do if the top's foggy. I mean, it's okay. You can still see in there, especially if, you know, the main thing is just you'll wait the time limit you need to wait. And then if when you open it and you're ready to use it, when you open it, if you happen to see that it's been violated, then just don't use it then. You know, it's that simple. Yeah, even if I wasn't out of cups, I wouldn't pour another one out of this because it's getting where it's slowing me down, and I don't like my process to be slowed down this bad because you start risking the project. And what I mean by that is I don't like for things to be, I don't like to do something if I don't think I got a good chance of success. And when I start dealing with crap like that, it worries me. So, what I had did was I had put 2 jars. How did them two get back together? I had put 2 jars in the pressure cooker. 2 jars of this agar. Well, to keep the one from getting thick on us and gooey while I was doing this set. I put the jar in the microwave up there for a few minutes. So what I'm going to do now is wipe some of this crap out of my still air box. And then I'm gonna grab the one from up there, the one that's in the microwave, and we will go at it again. Thank y'all. Okay, here we go, team. We are trying to finish this thing up so we will be through with the agar. We're going to spray out our top that we used the last time. I know it was only just a few seconds ago, but I always say I'd rather be clean now than have to do it again later. You know, do you want to spend a little extra time cleaning now, or do you want to have to do all this crap again later? I can tell you the answer. The answer is whether you'd rather be clean now. Okay, so we're going to double up in here. Shoot, forgot what I was doing, my bad. First, we're going to give it another spray out. We ain't looking to do nothing crazy because we did just clean it. But I am going to get alcohol on every square inch of it. See, when I'm wiping right now, I'm not trying to soak up that alcohol. What I'm trying to do is trying to coat it in it. I know it's clean in here because I bleach it about once a week, and I just want the alcohol coating everything. You know, alcohol dries quick, so now is where you add your dish soap. And that kind of keeps the alcohol lasting for a while. And whatever, you know, that's just what it seems like to me. All that with the alcohol sticking and extra stuff might not be true. But I know that you want the inside of your tub good and wet. That's the whole point of a still air box, is to have the inside wet where any air particles floating around can stick to the side of the tub. Okay, so we're going to give that one little shake. It is good to go. Kind of loosen it where it ain't too hard to get the top off. And this time we're using my favorite tops. This was a 100 pack I bought off eBay. This thing was way longer then. But I used it on my last one. So we got that open. We're gonna put her in the hole. And this one I think I'm just going to tear because I know it's going to be short enough to redo when I get it out. Alright, and that one's in the hole. Now we're gonna check the temp one final time. We're at 141, we're almost perfect. We got our hands gooped up. Okay, here we go. Just gonna use that many tops for right now. And then somewhere around that many tops. I just don't want to have many out of the bag at one time. Alright, so now I got my hand in there. Okay. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you're turning these over, it's easy to want to stick your finger in the jar. In the ketchup cup. Don't be that guy. And remember, you don't need much agar. You just barely, especially if you use thick, nutritious agar like I do, then all you're really trying to do is coat the bottom. Oh, won't do that next time. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bam. Bam. Once you get going, you develop a snapping technique, and I know all ketchup cups look the same, but they're not. The snapping technique I had going for the other brand is not the snapping technique for this brand, but it's good to know that there's a difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Too much agar, I would say. And now I've done learned a snapping technique, then I go changing my dang everything with this damn glove. But I figured it'd be easier just to put it on once, but I think I was wrong. I think that would have been a lot better if I took it off just like I did last time. I know you're probably thinking, what in the world could anybody need with this much agar? And I'll be glad to tell you. The answer to that is that I have that I have four strains going right now, and one of them I'm really one of them I got such high hopes for. Well, actually, two of them I have high hopes for. One of them is just your regular penis envy. I mean albino penis envy. I've never actually grown it myself. I've had it a bunch, but I've always heard that it was really hard to produce, so I didn't want to try it. I just would prefer, I didn't want to, I would just rather have bought it, you know, because once I heard how hard it was to grow, I heard it was real finicky and that it was real, really what I had planned was I was going to wait until I got a flow hood to try it. But then somebody, I won't mention their name, but somebody online that you've probably seen videos of theirs, or you probably bought their spores, or you know something, you know them probably if you're in the community. They had told me that they still to this day operate out of a still air box, and when they told me that, it just really like gave me the confidence to feel like I could try it. So that's one of them that I am really excited for. And then another one that I'm really excited for is some wild genetics. I don't even know what kind they are. You know, obviously that's kind of the point of them being wild genetics. You know they're cubensis, but you ain't gonna know what kind of cubensis. So for that reason, I am super excited, and these are some big mushrooms. And guess what? I happen to have a clone that I have one that I'm gonna clone. So I know what I'm gonna get out of wild genetics, and then I also have several spore prints from it, so I can hope to get something crazy. You know, like out in this field, man, there was out in this field the first time I came, when I didn't have the stuff I needed to keep some of them, that we found some as big as dinner plates, you know. So that like really made me want to clone some of them to see if I could get some that big in a out of a tub. You know, I've never seen just big shrooms grow in a tub, but we had one that was like 14 grams dried. You know, so you can imagine that's, according to the shroom math, that's supposed to be like 140 grams when it was wet. You know, I don't know how accurate that 10% thing is, but if it's even close, then that's what we had, you know. So, you know, 140 gram mushroom. So, so all that being said, if anybody knows, put this in the comments. I was wondering, do you know if big shrooms like that can be grown in tubs? Or, well, I guess what my question is it the genetics that produce big shrooms, or is it the fact that they're in the outdoors? You know, like, can you grow big dinner plate size mushrooms in a tub, or is that something that only Mother Nature can produce? I have seen a bunch of shrooms in tubs, and I've seen some long, tall ones that added up to a lot of weight, but I've never seen caps that were like big as dinner plates in a tub. You know, they're all, you know, super tiny 50-cent size and stuff like that. So if anybody knows that, I'd appreciate an answer, or, you know, some info on it. but only let me know if you're for sure, if it's something you've seen with your own eyes. If you've seen a saucer size mushroom in a tub before with your own eyes, let me know in the comments, because that's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to grow big black mushrooms. Or actually, have y'all ever heard what the color of psilocybin is? I've never heard anybody say what the color was, you know. So me and my girlfriend, we was looking at the shrooms, and she come up with the color. She said it looks like midnight black, and I was like, that works for me. I mean, I'll call it that, midnight black. It's such a beautiful, like shimmery shimmery purple. You know, like I love the way it looks when you're cleaning the bottoms of your shrooms off, you know, after you pick them. I don't like to cut mine. I like to twist them out of the soil lightly, you know, and the reason is because I don't like cutting them and then leaving that in there, because to me it seems like that open moisture just leaves the avenue for contam. I like to twist them, get them out of the way, and then soak the tub in water and start your next flush. You know, soak it in water for about 2 hours. I'll put a dinner plate and a brick on it. I'll put the dinner plate in a plastic bag that I know is brand new, you know, like a garbage bag. And then I'll put the brick on top of the dinner plate where it's not touching any of the substrate. And then I'll leave that for about 2 hours. I've heard some people say 24 hours. I've heard some people say 1 hour and all this. But what I've discovered is that it don't matter how long you soak it. The substrate's only going to soak up so much water. So an hour is enough time for your flush. But the reason you might want to leave it a little longer than an hour is if you have happened to pick up some gnats in your substrate, then they've got eggs and stuff like that in the soil. So if you will soak it, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, completely submerged, then what you're going to do is you're going to drown the eggs, and you might still have a few flies in your tub, but they're going to be like extremely noticeably less. You know, like I'm talking about cutting them down by like 9/10. And then they're going to do their thing. They're going to build right back up. Like once you've got one in there, like don't ever think it's going to ever be a fly-free grow. I mean, once one ever gets in there, just go ahead and start naming them, you know, because they're your pets then. They're your pets until you throw that box away. You're going to end up doing more damage to your shrooms than to the flies if you try to kill them forcefully. So you might as well just let them hang out, because something I've noticed from spending a lot of time in the fields is that the shrooms grow fine out there in the wild, and that's with the bugs right out in the open. So don't trip out about the flies too much. I mean, you want to try to keep them out because you don't want them in your house, period. You know, period. But if they do happen to get in there, you know what I'm saying, Hakuna Matata, just, you know, hope they eat. Just don't worry about it if they do get in there. You want to try to keep them out just for good practice, you know, just so you can practice being clean and practice being a good mushroom farmer and all of that. But if they get in there, Hakuna Matata, man, just finish your growth, you know. They ain't gonna eat your shrooms up, and they ain't gonna stop it or nothing like that. What you want to do is have your box sealed so they can't get out and then come back and get out and come back, because that's what causes contamination in your box. The flies bringing something from the outside and in. If somehow you let them in the beginning or whatever, and there was only like 1 or 2 flies, and then they laid eggs in your soil, and then them flies were born in there and they hadn't never got out, you can have 2 or 3 flushes and them flies won't even be a problem. But if your lid's cracked and them flies can go out and get contamination on themselves and then come back in, then they're going to green your box out. Your box is going to look like a waste management dumpster, throw it up on it. It's not going to be a good look. So don't panic about bugs, but yeah, we do want to try to avoid them. All right, everybody, that's what we ended up with on the Agar side. And you know, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about 80 jars, you know, something like that. That ought to be enough to do something with. But anyway, much love, everybody. I will see y'all later.